Have you ever wondered why Sony has never made a VHS camcorder? Well, that's because they had their own VHS system called BetaMovie, and we have the first model right here, and we're checking it out today. Hey there, welcome back to my camera collection. In today's video, we're going to be checking out the Sony BetaMovie BMC-110. We'll be going over some of the specs on it, looking at some of the physical features on it, talking about some of the related models to it, and unfortunately, I won't be showing you any video footage from it, because for some reason it doesn't turn on and you have to have a Sony Betamax VCR for you to be able to watch your footage back. So on that note, let's get into today's video. A little bit different looking studio setup. I haven't posted in a while, as you may know, and I just want to say thank you all for 1,000 subscribers. I am going to be starting a channel membership, so if you want to join that and help support me in that way, you can do so. I will be posting unboxing videos of the new cameras I get, so you'll be able to see what cameras I will be reviewing before I actually review them, and there'll just be some cool up close fun shots of it. But yeah, I got a new desk here, and kind of a new little setup, so I'm trying out some different angles and some lighting and stuff. So let me know if you like the way that the video looks. So BetaMovie was introduced in 1983. This was their first camera they came out with BetaMovie. Now this one is actually from 1984. You can see here on the back it has a 4B on it, indicating that it was produced in 1984 in the second quarter. And fun fact, the NTSC version, or the American version, is the BMC-110, and the PAL version, or the European version, is the BMC-100. The writing mechanism, or the tape head, is a single head helical scan, and there is no playback function for any of the consumer models of these. Now, Sony actually made 5 consumer models and 2 professional models, and we'll talk about those here later. Now, there's not a whole lot of specs on this guy, but I will share with you what I do know. I couldn't find any like specifications online. I did look at a user manual online, and I couldn't find any specifications on it in the user manual. So the zoom range on this guy is a 9mm to a 54mm. So kind of like a DSLR lens. You can manually zoom it, or you can automatically zoom it with the rocker zoom on the side, and it has a macro function on it. And yes, this camera does take a different kind of tape than a VHS tape. It takes a Betamax tape, or a BetaMovie. They're very similar to VHS tapes. They just are slightly smaller than a VHS tape. I don't know, I kind of like the way that the footage looks. I'll leave some cards up above to some other videos of people actually filming with one of these. It's got some really good 80s looking footage to it. So let's go around and check out some of the physical features on this guy. We'll start off with the lens. Now this does come with a nice little lens hood. You can actually unscrew and take it off like so. Pretty big, actually. It screws onto the lens threads on the front, which is a 55mm lens thread diameter. So if you do want to run like a UV filter on it, or a wide angle, or a fisheye on it, that's the size that you would need. And it actually has this really cool, you've probably been looking at this little white thing right here, lens cap for it. Actually snaps to the hand strap on the side. That way it doesn't sit there and dangle while you're recording. You have a nice little place to put it while you're recording, but it just slides over like that and stays on nice and snug, doesn't fall off. But once you go to record, you can take it, and there's this little button that you can take and snap it into place, and then you're ready to start recording, and you don't have to worry about it being in the way or hitting the camera and making noise. Now the mic is actually in really good shape. The foam on it isn't deteriorating at all. It's not flaking or anything, which is actually very surprising, because a lot of old camcorders like this have pretty much nothing left on the foam mic on it. Coming along to the viewfinder, it actually folds up and snaps into place here on top, and then when you get ready to record, it snaps down here, and the viewfinder actually has a lens cap for it as well, so that it doesn't get dirty. So this is the first camera I've ever seen that has a lens cap for the viewfinder, so that's actually pretty neat. You can snap that in there and keep it nice and dust free. Now this guy does have some indicators, just like the Sony M8U inside the viewfinder, and it is not a digital viewfinder, it's an optical viewfinder. It's not a digital screen, it's kind of similar to like a DSLR lens or a DSLR viewfinder. When you look through it, you can still see things through it even when the camera's off. It's optical, and then they have little light indicators that pop up telling you different things that's going on with the camera. So up on top, it tells you up in the top left, the letter W will pop up for white balance, saying that maybe you need to change the white balance whether you're in indoor or outdoor. The top right is a caution indicator. So if it's blinking, that means that your tape heads are dirty. If it is a solid light and it's not blinking, then that means that your camera has something wrong with it and you're supposed to send it into Sony and get it fixed. So that is actually what happens on here. There's some other lights here on the side that show the caution stays on. There's a letter T on the bottom left corner saying that it is the tape and low battery. So tape run and low battery. So I want to say tape run is probably the once you're getting close to the end of the tape, it will probably let you know that you're about to run out of memory. And then in the bottom right, you have the letter L for low light. If you're in too low of light, it will let you know that you need either a light up on top or, you know, step into some better light. It's actually pretty smart for it being a camera from 1983 and 1984, that it knows that if it needs different white balance, different lighting situations and all that kind of stuff. The filter is your white balance selection, and you can choose between indoor and outdoor, and there's a middle selection, I believe, and that is your auto selection. Down here on the bottom, there is a power button, and then you have a white button indicating the white balance, which is, you know, convenient. And then you got some other lights down here indicating similar things that you would see in the viewfinder. So you would have the tape and battery, do, which I want to say do it's got to have something to do with the tape heads if it's wet inside or something. And then you have obviously the caution light. You do have this, I don't know if it's leather or if it's fake leather, but it's kind of a little foam pad right here. So when you have it up here like so, you can rest your head against the pad and look in the viewfinder. It comes with this very pretty neck strap or shoulder strap here. Has similar colors to the stickers here on the side of the BetaMovie. You don't got much going on besides some warnings and some cautions of what you should and shouldn't do with the camera. But you do have a eject right here, and that's for your tape deck to eject out. And then coming along on the right side, there is this textured area, and it says push. So when the tape deck does come out, you push right there and it'll lock the tape deck in. And then along the bottom, you have your power supply where it goes in, along with your earphones, remote, and your mic, your external mic plug-in. What's interesting about the remote though is it's actually a 3.5 millimeter jack instead of a 2.5 millimeter jack. That's the first time I've ever seen that on a camera. But when I first got this camera, from looking at the pictures, these plugins looked like the your traditional yellow, white, and red RCA plugins. So I was like, oh cool, I can just plug it into my converter and do it that way. I didn't know that you couldn't do that. Not sure if the power zoom is a one-speed zoom. I guarantee it doesn't have a variable zoom speed, it's just one. But it seems like it has a actual full leather hand strap on it. It doesn't seem like it's plastic leather, fake leather. But one cool thing about this, and something that's interesting about it, is the battery goes in where the hand strap is. So you'll see here on the front, it says close and open. So if you open, this little door comes down, and that's where your battery slides into, is right here. And then once you get your battery in or out, you can close it and then turn the little dial and it keeps it locked. Another thing that it does is here on the bottom, it has a little switch here that says release, and so you'll push it and you can actually fold the hand strap up, and it folds up like so. Another thing is when you fold it down, it'll lock into place, but it has 3 different little settings that it locks into as well. So you can have it angled like that. That way when you have it in, you can have different comfortable hand positions for it, so that way if your hand's getting tired in a certain position, you can change it. Or if it makes it easier to point it at different angles, you can do that. So I thought that was really interesting. This is the first camera that I've seen that has a section like that. Is variable adjustable, I guess. But yeah, the main reason I got this camera is because it's just super colorful. It's, I don't know, I like a lot of color, and I just thought that it was a pretty looking camera. So I snagged it, and looking online, it looks like a lot of the cameras, I don't know if they come with the stickers for you to put the stickers on. People just peel them off when they get them. I think it looks cool with the stickers, especially because the lanyard goes with the stickers, like the color scheme. So I don't know, it's very rainbow, it's very colorful, and it's just a really cool looking camera. I just didn't know that you had to have a BetaMovie VCR for you to be able to play the footage back, and I was kind of taking a gamble when I bought it because it was untested. Turns out it doesn't work. So yeah, it will be up on my eBay store if you want it for yourself. So some of the other related cameras with the BMC-110 is the BMC-220. Now, the only difference between the 110 and the 220 is the 220 actually was the exact same, it just had autofocus now. So the BMC 110 doesn't have autofocus, it's only manual focus. The third consumer model of these was the BMC 550, released in 1985. In this camcorder, you could set the date and time in the timestamp. It now had a CCD sensor in it. After the 550, you had the BMC 660, and the only difference between it and the 550 was that now it recorded to Super BetaMovie. And after they came out with the BMC 660, they came out with the BMC 1000. Which was the last year they made BetaMovie series of cameras, and that was in 1987. And it now had a electronic viewfinder, and it also recorded to Super BetaMovie, and it also recorded to High BetaMovie, and it still didn't have any form of playback functions. So none of these had any playback functions. As for the professional models, they had the GSC-1, and it was a industrial professional camcorder, and it had a electronic viewfinder to it. And the last BetaMovie kind of camera that they made was the EDC-55. Now this one wasn't even considered a part of the BetaMovie line because it was such a professional camcorder, but it recorded in a ED beta format, which I have no idea what that is, but the resolution produced over 550 lines, and it recorded in hi-fi stereo, so you had a stereo microphone with it, and you could insert your own audio, say like a external mic, and you could edit your own videos on it. It had its own editing system, and it was the only one out of the entire BetaMovie line that could play back its own tapes. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the Sony BetaMovie BMC-110. Some of the camcorders I've been getting lately are broken. I apologize for the last videos I've been making. You can't see any kind of test footage from it. But yeah, this is a super cool camera, and like I said, it'll be out on my eBay store if you want to get it for yourself. And I want to thank everybody again for 1,000 subscribers. And on that note, we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.